So to kick off our Hofstra watch party, we've got head coach Seth Tierney joining us now. Coach, thanks for taking some time. I'm going to go a little trip down memory lane for you here over the last several years, all right?
I can't wait. Let's see what you have in store for us.
So we're kicking things off with your win over North Carolina from back in 2018 for you guys at home. That was a stretch a couple of years in a row where you beat UNC. Just in terms of scheduling, having the opportunity to welcome programs like UNC to your place, what does that mean for the program?
It was awesome. I mean, it was obviously a huge win. We went down to North Carolina 2 years in a row. We were fortunate enough to win those two games as well. So they came up to us in the third game of the series. I remember wearing, I think, special uniforms that day. And I remember the guys getting real excited about, the opportunity to play North Carolina again. We knew and thought that they were not going to be thrilled with us after the first two outcomes. And I remember the crowd being really large and very much into it. And it was a great win for Hofstra men's lacrosse.
Yeah, and we've had a chance to do a number of these big non-conference games for you guys on Long Island, and I feel like there's just something that feels special and different about a nice Saturday afternoon. The sun's out. Hopefully it's not too cold and early on. And there's just something special about an afternoon there at Short Stadium when you're welcoming in a ranked program, whether it's in conference or out of conference. It just feels different. Walk me through the feeling of a big game there at Short.
Yeah, I mean, listen, certainly, night games or day games here, we call it the Dutch Dome. Everyone calls it Shewart Stadium and Margiata Hall. And the guys, obviously take it personal. We've had some really big conference wins here over the course of my time. We had a win over number one Hopkins 1 year. We had beaten Cornell. We had beaten Princeton. And certainly North Carolina. There's been a couple of great ones here over the course of time, and it's just the crowd gets behind it. They're excited to see a great game. We have Syracuse coming in this year on a Tuesday night. We're hopeful that Long Island will come out and Mother Nature will allow us to have a huge crowd for that one, as well as all our conference games. And again, we certainly get excited just to play, but to play in those big games is something special here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's so special for whether it's the guys that are on your team, especially from Long Island, or the guys who are coming back from another program. Like, that stadium means so much to the people there. It's got to be special to be able to call it home.
Yeah, I mean, there's no getting around it. There's a lot of great players on other programs, and when they come home, their memories are of playing in a county championship or a Long Island championship, whatever, maybe even a state championship here at Hofstra. So, it's a special place. It is a great stadium for lacrosse. We obviously think it's a top stadium. The NCAA thinks it's a top stadium. We host the quarterfinals here almost every year. The PLL has been here, and even the guys that come back in the PLL, they remember their memories here at Hofstra.
Some of the other games we're going to be showing here later in the day, a couple of games from a pretty memorable 2021 season for you guys. And one of the games that we're showing is that semifinal win you guys had at home, knocking off Delaware on your way to a CAA championship game appearance. How special was that game, having a chance to play what I thought was probably one of your better games that year at home in order to make a run to the championship game?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, again, it was a huge crowd. I believe that they were 1 and we were 4 going into the tournament. The first game, I believe, and you have to check me. I have a hard time thinking what I did this morning. But I remember the first game being pretty close, and we needed to string a great game together. Some names that come to mind. Obviously, Ryan played real well. And he was guarded by Owen Grant at the time, and he had a huge goal at the end. It was almost one of those twister goals down on the goal line. We were on the visiting team bench because we were the away team in our house. Logan Denenza really stepped up to play Kitchen, probably as hard as anybody has played him. And it was a bounce back game from the first one. But again, it was everybody rowing in the same direction. and our boat got to move on. And unfortunately, we didn't have the same energy, and the same outcome in the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, that run in 2021, it was a year where you guys had a bunch of big moments. What did it mean to make that run to the championship game with your son being part of that team and having his career close with at least a run to that title game?
Yeah, it was invaluable. I mean, certainly, some of the games that we won and the games that we played, even the losses, you got to remember those as well, because they're the ones that make the wins so special, right? If you win all the time, the wins aren't as special. So you need to know how hot the stove is before you touch it. And so we touched it a few times that year, and then came back out and had a great run at the end. And certainly, having that run with Rye at the end there. Again, walking off the field versus Drexel in the championship game after the loss, knowing that his career was over. It was certainly hard, but I mean, I don't know a luckier dad than myself when you talk about having an opportunity to coach your son for 5 years. The pandemic, that was one of the good things that came out of the pandemic, was I got a chance to coach that class, and certainly Ryan for an extra year. And then for him to have the success of breaking the points record and the goals record here at Hofstra, and getting that hug that we talked about probably six years before, that was the moment.
Ryan obviously has gone on to start to play professionally. You've coached a number of guys who are now playing in the PLL. Josh Byrne has had a terrific career so far. You look at Jack Kincannon in goal. What has it meant for you to see so many of these guys that I felt like it took maybe a couple years in their Hofstra career, and people nationally are going, oh, that guy's really good. And now we're seeing them on the biggest stage in the sport, playing against and competing against some of the best in the world. What has that meant for you as a coach in the program?
Yeah, it's an awesome feeling. I get a chance to play a little bit of a small role with the PLL and watch those guys. But Josh Byrne, he's had one heck of a career, both indoor and outdoor. Watching Ryan play for the Cannons, and watching him get passes and passing the ball to Lyle Thompson and the other great players on the Cannons. Steve DiNapoli was the one Hofstra guy still standing, for the Water Dogs. But, it's those other guys as well. Jack and Cannon's trying out for Team USA now, where I'm, fortunate that they had us back, and I'll be an assistant coach there. And Jack's fighting for one of two spots for the goal position there. Finn Sullivan out there playing hard. Brian McIntosh, a lot of guys that are just out there and doing some great things. Brendan Kavanaugh still part of the Chrome. We got a bunch of guys out there from the Hofstra program, and they're certainly Turnpike guys through and through that are playing in the PLL.
Well, we're going to flash back to where they were kind of early on in their careers throughout the day here as we get a chance to watch some of their games from the past here, Coach. We really appreciate you taking some time. Thanks so much, and good luck here as you get rolling here in the fall, all right?
Thank you.